started. All right. The Penguins have, I believe, won eight out of their last 10. So everything is great. There are no problems. We're just going to talk about all how wonderful they are because there are no problems with this team, right? Evil laugh. Let's just review the last week. So last Sunday they beat Chicago 5-3, which Chicago, what the heck happened to them? My goodness. What's going on there? They've been bad for many, many years now.
Yeah, it's been tough for them.
I mean that could have been the Penguins because basically they had their two stars and
still could.
They just decided to ride it out with them. And we criticize the Penguins, but at least they make the playoffs every year. The Blackhawks just bleh.
It doesn't make sense.
Like
must be the water or something in Chicago.
Yeah. Then that was Evgeny Malkin's 1,000th game, which was on the road. Then they celebrated Malkin's 1,000th game on Wednesday at home against Calgary, and they won in a shootout. Was that the game where they had like 3 disallowed goals or something like that? Like the refs just kept taking away goals from the Penguins.
Yeah,
we went to overtime and
but it was sweet how Gino got the winning goal.
It was perfect. The night was all about him. They all in warm-ups they all dressed as him and they acted like him. And and then Friday they beat the Flyers 4-1.
Actually, going back to the game against Calgary, I really thought that Calgary should have jumped on board and did the stretches too, just to show respect for Gino's milestone.
That's cute. The first.
I think it would have been, because it shows that we're opponents, but we also have respect for the game. So I thought that was a bad call. Is it Sutter? Daryl Sutter's their coach. I think they should have said, you know what, guys, let's show some respect here. It's not the first time teams have shown mutual respect. So I was kind of disappointed in that aspect.
That would have been very nice.
It would have been. It would have been funny too for everyone to see both teams go down and start doing the scissors.
Yeah,
it would have been hilarious.
That would have been.
It would have been good for hockey
amazing.
too. It would show sportsmanship and Calgary definitely messed up on that one. I think.
Yeah. Then on Friday they beat the Flyers 4-1, and
that was a given.
Yeah, man. I mean, I get that the Flyers are in a rebuild. They're, okay. The only way they're going to win a game is if Hart steals it for them. Okay, fine, whatever. But basically, they're basically the only team that decides to goon it up, and they have a coach that likes to goon it up. So they have the perfect coach for what they want to do. But come on, the Flyers. There was Marcus Pettersson got into a fight in this game.
Okay. So I can't remember what player, Delorier, I don't know how to say his name. He hit someone, one of our players, into the board.
He hit Letang, I believe.
And it was a clean hit. It wasn't called. It was, but I guess maybe because it was in the boards, and then Pettersson decides, you know what, I'm gonna stand up for my teammate, which I approve. But they're there's a fine line on when you can stand up for your opponent. And I mean, going up against one of probably the best fighters in the league isn't the best idea. Like, I was on my feet at first because me, I love my fights in hockey, but at one point I'm like, stop, Pettersson, you're gonna get hurt. I'm like, stop. It was brutal. It was not a good fight for him.
It has to be fun when you're gonna get the crap beat out of you. You're gonna get beat up. You're gonna lose this fight, but you go in anyway. Yeah, I mean, yeah. A guy that's not used to fighting against one of the best fighters. That's a recipe for disaster. But yeah, he stood up for his teammates. So, it was like almost 50-50 with the reaction of that Pedersen fight. It's, some people were like, "Hey, yay, you stood up for your teammate," and another was like, "Dude, what are you doing?"
Yeah, it was
What
it
if
was a,
Pedersen is basically their best defenseman right now? What
oh
if
yeah,
he
he's
got
on fire.
hurt? What if a fight would have taken out our best defenseman? We would have been screwed. So I see both sides.
Yeah.
Then on Saturday, they play Toronto at home, lose 4-1.
That was
It
a terrible
easily
game.
could have been 44-1. Uh, I mean, a complete disaster. Um, yeah, I've heard it described as, well, it was the second game of they played the night before and they don't do well, and when it's back-to-back games, it's like, I don't care. I don't know. I don't know. What did you think about that Toronto game?
I think that first goal, Mitch Marner's goal, when they did a line change, the Penguins did a line change that was a really bad idea. And Sydney's little tantrum, for lack of a better word, actually, that kind of fairly assesses the moment. I think that was really dumb. I had a conversation with someone on Twitter about this, and they're like, well, he's got to show the teammates that it's not acceptable, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, there's a way to do it. Throwing a fit on the bench there's so many things wrong with that. For example, one, it shows your opponents how easily you can be influenced and get angry, and it gets in your head. Once you're angry about something, it just threw off the whole vibe for that game. I know the Pens were a little tired, but it was honestly one of the sloppiest games I've ever watched since they started playing well again. And I solely blame Sydney. I think that he ruined the vibe with that. And I mean, I get it. There's frustrations and there's anger, but you can redirect that frustration onto, scoring goals, making your opponents look stupid. Like, Sydney's more than capable of doing that. He's made a lot of players look stupid in his career. And, I think he's got to get a check on his emotions. And it wasn't a good look. And I definitely think it affected the overall vibe of the game.
Well, for whatever reason, he missed like half of the first period.
Well, he had skate issues apparently in warmups. I don't know if I believe any of it. And then he's there sitting there kicking the crap out of the boards. Like, yeah, you did some damage to your skate. Own up to it. And yeah, he ended up only playing 3 minutes and 33 seconds in the first period, when he would usually play around what?
Probably 10.
12?
Yeah.
10, 12?
Yeah. So yeah, that's okay.
And we lost to an AHL goalie essentially because Murray wasn't playing, and Samsonov is still out. Is that his name? Yeah, I have him on my fantasy team, and I think. But yeah, no, the overall vibe wasn't there. It's just like, I remember watching Sydney's little fit, and Carter just didn't let him be. Like, Carter was right beside him, and he didn't really look. He kind of glanced over, but just kept. Like, I just wonder how many players are intimidated by that man. You can kind of see it. There's a vibe thing there, and you got to keep your emotions in check.
I mean,
find another outlet.
Who's going to stand up to him and say, hey, dude, chill out or whatever? I mean,
if I were the coach, I would have been all over it, telling him to smarten up.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I mean, it was a bad look, and for whatever reason, he only played 3 minutes. That stinks. But
one thing too I noticed about that game, we out hit Toronto like 54, 55 to 23, 24. I forget the final numbers, but we stopped playing hockey and started playing Smash Brothers, right? We let our anger affect our game and our disappointment in ourselves, and we just started throwing hits around, and we stopped playing to score goals, and we started playing not to injure, but just, the whole team lost control.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't know if you could say it's just one of those games or just a bad night at the rink or whatever, but they look so bad. It was, ugh, just leaves a bad taste.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because then you start thinking like, if they're that easily swayed on momentum, teams are paying attention. Other teams are paying attention, so they'll know. All they have to do is piss off Sydney to the point where he throws a tantrum, and it just affects everything. This is why I talk so much about like chemistry and communication and talking, like not just on the ice, but talking on the bench. And, like, I don't know. I know Sydney's got a lot on his plate, a lot of pressure. And it's just, you're an idol and you need to do better. And I'm jumping back to that. But yeah, bad look indeed. And you're a grown man. So
Yeah.
when's the last time you threw a temper tantrum? When you were a child, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I got sent to my room too. Maybe
that's it.
Maybe that was it. Maybe he had to take a timeout. That's why he missed most of the first period. Maybe Sullivan said, "You go to your room, mister. You are grounded. No ice time for you, young man."
That's too good. Oh my God, that's so good.
Another problem. Apparently Kapanen is back.
No, he just practiced in lieu of Heinen today.
Okay, so hopefully that's not a permanent thing.
Well, I'm pretty sure Kapanen, I don't know what's going on there, but I'm sure we'll see him slot in here and there, or maybe Sully will give him another chance. Maybe, he wakes up a little bit.
Or maybe they'll play him to showcase him in a trade.
Maybe. Because, like, I mean, what is he getting paid? 3.5 mil a year to sit on the bench? Like, come on, who's running this team?
Yeah, but that's a major black mark on the team. Major mistake bringing him back for that much. Wow. But I keep hearing this is another problem. Jeff Carter, he's not only is he not scoring, but he's just not playing well. Are you seeing that too?
Isn't he like 47 years old?
I think
for his age, he's doing great. Carter might not be performing to what we're used to, but I wouldn't, freak out on that too much. He is a bit of a glue player. He does come through clutch in situations where he's needed. And I think he might be good for the locker room. I'm not 100% sure, but I give him a little bit more time. It's early in the season still. I wouldn't really freak out on that, but I mean, if he was to be traded, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. But like I said, I wouldn't be too quick to jump on that because come postseason, our veteran players are what help us the most, and Carter has success in the postseason, so maybe I'd give him the season.
Another thing I'm hearing is Letang is just not looking good. Is that a concern?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't been paying too much attention to our D pairings the last few games, but Letang's actually his game's pretty rough. He's up there missing shots more than anyone, causing more turnovers than anyone. He's been this Murray. Sorry, Murray's on my TV. I got excited. He's not pulling his weight, and he's actually cost us a couple goals that I know for sure. He's kind of become dead weight, and I don't know if maybe there's an injury there or if his heart's not in it anymore. But there's another concern. We just signed him for 400 more years until he's 85, and like if we're already seeing a decline, like that's concerning. So
if Jeff Carter stinks, that is not great, but also he's a third line center. if
I'd
Chris
rather Carter than Heine or than Kapanen. I'll say that right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. But if Kris Letang, if your number one defenseman stinks, that is a big problem. Whatever's going on, he needs to fix this soon because that is concerning.
Could be a mentality thing. I would suggest like the coach or even the captain, like sit down and have a chat with him and talk to him like, man to man and say, what's going on with your game? What can I do to help you improve your situation? This game goes far beyond the ice. Like there's many things that need to be done off the ice that are important. And well, we don't know these things. We can assume they're happening, but I think once a player starts to decline, you got to start having conversations with them. You can't just be like, oh, I'll get out of it, or ignore the problem until it goes away. It never goes away. It only gets worse. And I mean, regret is something that grows with each day. It never goes away. And I like, as much as I don't want the Hextall to regret his decisions, even though I feel it was more people had their hand on those trades. I don't want any of them to regret it. I just want them to, try to find solutions, because this isn't a team that is going to do any damage. Like, sure, we're on a 5-game winning streak or something. Was it?
Yeah, I mean, they've won 8 out of their last 10. So
okay, but if each player is not playing to their full potential, and the whole team can have a serious meltdown playing an AHL goaltender, that's very concerning. It doesn't matter how many regular season games you win. Come playoff time, you're an AHL team if you play this well, and you're going to get worked. One thing I am very worried about with regards to this team is proper rest, especially with the physicality of the game and like the age of our best players. We're going to be done come the postseason. We're going to be tired. We're going to be run down. And if there's so many things that concern me with regards to that in that regard, sorry, but there's still time to improve on the situations. It's not just about getting into the playoffs. It's about winning the cup. And I don't want to see a first round exit again. Like, I'd rather them not make it so they can be like, oh man, next year be hungry. Like, oh, we broke our streak. What did we do wrong? Let's fix the problems. But just coasting along thinking it's enough, it's not enough. And there's some really, really good teams out there this year, much better than us.
I can't imagine what would happen if there was another first round exit. I just think you're right. I'd rather just not even make the playoffs at all if that's what's going on. It's pathetic, and it just screams to what we were saying before the season when they decided to basically change nothing. You haven't had success in years. You've had all these first round exits and you've done nothing to change it. So if that's the result you keep getting and it's just another first round exit, then I guess you get what you deserve because you really didn't change anything. So, but we'll see. We're a long way from that. We're only about a quarter way.
We played 22 games. Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you seeing in terms of turnovers and missed shots?
Okay, so for the last 3 games, we had 23 turnovers and 31 missed shots, which is a couple down from the 3 games prior. The 3 games prior, we had 25 turnovers, so we're down 2, and 36 missed shots, so we're down 5, which is improvement. I'll take it. I'll take it anywhere I can get it.
Still not where we want to be.
No. The Hall of Shame for those last 3 games. We've got wait for it. It's not going to be shocking. We've got Gino, Letang, and Pettersson all tied at 4 with 4 all tied at first with 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers in 3 games for each of them. And then you've got Carter tied at 2nd with Dumoulin for 2. And then the rest, there's a bunch of players that are just 1, which is fine. 1's forgivable. So in 22 games, we've had 195 turnovers. Missed shots, like I said, 31. Good old captain at the top of that list with 5. missed shots. And the problem I find with Sydney is he rushes a little bit. He overextends his shot, and the dropping to the one knee, while it's beautiful when it works, it kind of throws off your accuracy a little bit, I've noticed. But I still love it. I love it. I love it. I love every time he scores when he's on one knee. I think it's fun.
You think it actually makes him less accurate when he does the drop to
I
one knee
think
thing?
so, because like if your body weight's not distributed properly and then you move your stick, you're gonna shift that balance. And if you're not, like I said, balanced properly, it's not gonna go where you want to go. You're not gonna have the strength on your stick because you're not balanced properly. Now it's not always the case because he's had many goals on bended knee, but you've got to be like I said, balanced and solid in your stance, and so that you can support your weight supports the stick and there's more control. Let me see here. Raquel and Joseph and Letang are tied at 4 missed shots in second, and third is Zucker, whatever it is.
We still haven't decided.
At third, and then whatever, just 2 and 1 everywhere else. And I noticed Dumoulin has improved a little bit. He's improving, his game's kind of improving a little bit each game. And his numbers tend to be lower on the turnovers and missed shots. What, mind you, he's not shooting as much. But in 22 games, we have 265 missed shots. So, you know, in fact, actually, Gino is not on the missed shots this week. So maybe he's sitting there working on a shooter. Tudor actually came across this picture. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it, but I saw this and I'm like, the Penguins need it. Let's see. Can we see that? It's a shooter Tudor.
I like it.
So Penguins need to get one of those. What's the juveniles use?
Maybe they'll get one for Christmas or something.
Yeah, maybe I should send them one. Love from Toronto.
Hint,
Their biggest fan. Yeah, no, it's silly. You know, might want it to be a closed practice when you do it, and so there's no media taking pictures because but you got to do whatever it takes to win, whatever it takes to improve your game. This is important. And going back to what worked and what tools and people you use back in your back-to-back wins, you gotta kind of recreate that. It hasn't been working, like you said, Joe, for the last 5 years now, or 6. How long has it been?
Yeah, I think
it was
5
like 100 years. So it might as well have been a 91 cups, like it feels that long ago. It's really, really important that we utilize what worked for them then. And like, what's the quote? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So
yeah,
you guys are losing your mind.
Yeah. So looking at the week, Tuesday they are home to Carolina. First game, I believe, against Hurricanes. That'll be fun. I'm not sure how that.
I'm sorry, my computer came unplugged. Oh well, I guess it doesn't work anymore. Oh, I'm sorry.
I hear you. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's just gone dark, and I'm trying to figure it out.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it came on. Just give me a sec. So sorry. So sorry.
Also this week, there's on Thursday home against Vegas, and then Saturday home to St. Louis. So
yeah, we play Carolina next, right?
They play Carolina Tuesday. Yeah. So that should be.
If we beat them, I will be surprised.
Yeah.
Carolina's been fierce this year.
I think they're a team that could give the Penguins problems.
In New Jersey, like, what's going on over there?
Oh my goodness, they're insane.
You kind of like to see it though, a team that's struggling for so many years and not having any success, and then they start the season off and they kill it. I like that anyways. I've always liked the Cinderella story. But then you've got Boston, like Boston and New Jersey are 1 and 2 with 18 wins for Boston, 3 losses. And New Jersey's got 18 wins and 4 losses. And I mean, Vegas is up there too. But like, wow, what a start to the season.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive. Yeah. New Jersey. I mean, that New Jersey was just one of those teams where they were just like bad for so long, and you eventually, draft good play. You eventually draft high. You just figure it out, and
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I mean, it might be a tougher stretch. I don't know how. I haven't really been paying much attention. Like, I've been just really watching the Pens game, and I should say this is the first time since the second Cup win that I've like made an effort to watch every game and take notes again, because it was hard for me for a couple of years after to do it for personal reasons, but I'm back to doing it again this year, which has been fun to be able to talk to you about and know what I'm talking about instead of having to fake it.
So we will see what happens this week. It's
Yeah,
gonna
what's
be
your
nice to play
predictions then?
different teams.
What's your predictions?
Carolina is a loss, and I think they beat Vegas and St. Louis.
Vegas is in third place overall with 18 wins, 6 losses.
Yeah, they're very good. Yeah, they're on top of the Pacific, and St. Louis is doing okay. Yeah, they're fourth in the Central. Yeah, I think St. Louis is a win, and I think Vegas is a win too. I'll say they go 2-1.
I don't know. They could come and they could come and beat Carolina because they're embarrassed from the loss to Toronto. But yeah, I'm not as accurate predicting this season because the Pens are so unpredictable right now with like what team's going to show up, what version of the team we're going to get. And it scares me a little bit. But again, I don't worry too much until like after the All-Star game.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried. I think it's good that Sullivan's been running with the same lineup for the past few weeks now, letting them build a chemistry. Can we take a minute to talk about the fourth line?
I tell you what, ever since I know Bluger has made a big difference on the penalty kill. I don't think they've allowed a power play goal since since Bluger's come back.
Well, our game against Pittsburgh, our game against Philly, you had Archibald with 1 goal, Poling with 2 goals. Is it Poling? Did I say it right?
I think they say Paling.
Paling.
Poling, Zucker, Zucker, who, let's call the whole thing off.
Whatever. It is what it is.
Tomato.
But yeah, like that lineup, that line, the fourth line, was our best line. The top 3 were garbage.
Yeah.
That's scary, but it's good to have 4 solid lines. So I like that we're finding that with a fourth line. I just hope the rest of the team can catch up. I'm so hard on them, aren't I?
Yes, you are, but it's because you're hard for a reason. It's because we care.
I had this tweet the other day. Find someone that tells you the truth, no matter how hard it is.
Yeah. We don't sugarcoat it. You have to earn our respect.
That's it. Absolutely. And show appreciation by winning games and shooting the puck on the net. And I should say Sydney's confidence has improved a little bit on the dot. I would like to see him get above 70% and keep it there.
Okay.
That's my Christmas wish.
Okay. We will see. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes this week, and I'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good, Joe.
All right. See you.
Okay. Bye.